Russian forces were pushing forward toward the Ukrainian defensive lines, moving in with their heavy armored vehicles. But the first to understand that this was no ordinary assault were the Ukrainian reconnaissance elements stationed in the area. Observation teams quickly detected the movement and immediately relayed the enemy's coordinates to the artillery units. Shells were loaded into the barrels, the distance was confirmed, and the first round tore into the sky. As the artillery shells slammed into the ground one after another, the Russian armored vehicles slipped into panic. The artillery fire was relentless, and each strike was more precise than the last. Eventually, the Russian armor could no longer move. There was only one way out of the kill zone. The infantry abandoned their vehicles and sprinted toward the forest. The shade of the trees became their only refuge. At the same time, Ukrainian infantry units were rushing toward the region as well, and neither had any idea that a decisive turning point was only minutes away. Once they entered the woods, a brief silence set in. Ukrainian units fired suppressive bursts into suspected enemy positions. As branches shattered under the impact of bullets, Russian infantry returned fire. The forest turned into a chaotic maze where both sides were fighting without clearly seeing one another. As the battle rages on, a Ukrainian infantryman approaching the area in a light tactical vehicle suddenly finds himself facing an unexpected attack. Smoke still drifted from the fallen drone as the battle continued around him. By this time, several Ukrainian troops had been wounded. Russian forces had established serious pressure in this sector. Ukrainian infantry pulled back behind cover and waited. And there was a reason for this pause. The Ukrainian mortar teams had completed their calculations. Suddenly, a new thunder rolled through the forest. Mortar rounds began crashing down one after another, forcing Russian troops to abandon their positions. The intensity of the explosions pushed the Russian units into a full retreat. Ukrainian infantry then resumed their advance. However, the environment had become eerily quiet. This silence contrasted sharply with the chaos that had erupted moments earlier. Most Russian soldiers had either been neutralized or injured. The few remaining survivors had slipped deeper into the forest, hiding in abandoned structures scattered throughout the area. Ukrainian troops began clearing each shelter one by one. A Russian soldier hiding inside the shelter is detected. However, he chooses to surrender.
Сколько вас?
Сдаюсь.
Вылазь!
Сейчас.
Вылазь! Дай гранату!
Сдаюсь.
Сколько вас? Сколько вас? Алло, вылазь! Вылазь! Я говорю, вылазь, ты ему не поможешь.
Давай, вылазь. Давай сюда.
Давай, вылазь за ним.
Вылазь на улицу.
Не переживай.
But this moment revealed an unsettling truth. There should have been more Russian soldiers nearby. So where were they? Just as this uncertainty spread, Russian artillery suddenly opened fire. The battle had reignited with full force. Ukrainian command quickly requested reinforcements, and fresh units were sent into the fight.
Одноразку мені в руку. На, давай.
Gunfire echoed between the trees, clear evidence that the engagement was far from over. Simultaneously, Ukrainian drone operators launched reconnaissance drones, scanning the forest from above.
Хто кинув гранату?
And once their positions were marked, some were neutralized while others were taken prisoner.
Ні, я вам хочу сказати, я просто виживаю.
Лежи, не бійся, ніхто тебе трогати не буде.
But even then, the operation was not complete. Several Russian troops had barricaded themselves inside the abandoned structures deeper in the forest. From this point forward, Ukrainian units advanced with extreme caution. They still had no idea what might be waiting for them ahead. And the final chapter, the moment that would change the entire course of the engagement, was about to unfold right there. The Ukrainian infantry moved carefully through the area, checking each section step by step. The surroundings were quiet, but everyone knew that something could appear at any moment, so the tension never really dropped. Soon they detected Russian soldiers hiding in the basement of a building.
Парни, смотрите. Есть два варианта. Либо мы вас убиваем, либо вы сдаетесь.
Following standard procedure, the Ukrainians called on them to surrender. But the response they received was far from expected.
Либо вы сдаетесь, либо мы вас убиваем. Нас 8 человек. 5 секунд. 2 секунды.
The Russian soldiers pretended as if they were about to surrender, then suddenly threw a grenade outside. This instantly ignited a firefight. The Ukrainian infantry reacted quickly and threw a grenade into the basement in return.
Я стреляю. Подходь. Кидай гранату будет. Кто, пидор? Я быстрее.
Just as things seemed to calm down, a new threat appeared. The Russians had sent an FPV drone toward the position. The sound of the drone approached fast, but one of the Ukrainian infantrymen took the shot and destroyed it mid-air, preventing the attack.
Я FPV як прийняв. Вони, походу, всі вмерли.
Once the drone threat was eliminated, Ukrainian troops checked the basement. Inside, they found a Russian soldier who had been killed. After that, they moved on to inspect the surrounding buildings. Another structure was found to contain hidden Russian soldiers. Again, they attempted a surrender call, but there was no response.
Есть.
Виходь, говорю. Ти виходиш, або ми тебе вбиваємо. Здавайся в плен. Бистро відкрив двері, руки вперед. Кидай гранату.
The Ukrainians threw a grenade inside, and after the explosion, they saw that one Russian soldier had been neutralized.
Есть кто живой?
Двое.
However, they had information that 2 soldiers were inside, so the entire building was searched. Eventually, the second body was also located. While the team continued clearing the area, one Ukrainian soldier noticed unusual movement nearby. Suddenly, gunfire erupted.
Я тебе теж дуже сильно люблю, Субота. Рука, стоп, хто це?
A Russian soldier hiding among the rubble had opened fire on the Ukrainians. The Ukrainian troops quickly took positions and surrounded the building. One of the Ukrainians found a small gap between the bricks and managed to drop a grenade inside.
Виходь!
The explosion caused a strong shock inside the closed space. There was a brief silence afterward, and no movement came from within.
Поговори з ним. Да, він рукою отвинув шторку, він наче...
Still, as a precaution, a second grenade was dropped. This blast caused part of the structure to collapse. It was clear that no one inside could have survived the debris. Once the area is fully secured, the Ukrainian units bring their operation to a successful close. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more updates from the front.